Hey guys, it's Saturday. I weighed in this morning and I was actually up 0.2 this week. I am, I have mixed feelings on this weigh in. I am okay with the 0.2. I am owning it. I'm the reason I'm up 0.2 by the choices I made this week. And the fact that I'm only at 0.2, I will take that. But I am disappointed in myself because the choices I made this week are the reason I'm up 0.2. I deal with binge eating, and for me, that is my drug of choice. And it can be very difficult sometimes when that urge pops up to say no and to move forward. So this week it actually crept in a couple of times, and I'm not really sure what triggered it. Sorry. And actually, the last couple of weeks I've been dealing with this. I've had some issues with eating, binge eating specifically, the last couple of weeks. But the last couple of weeks I've managed to kind of rein it in and get back on track with enough time before weigh in. This week I didn't. So I need to reevaluate and I need to figure out how to move forward from this. And I've already made steps for this. I mean, today we have Autumn Fest at my son's school, and they're going to have food trucks there and whatever. And I've already told my husband that I want to eat before we get there, so that I can plan everything out, I can track it, and hopefully not be tempted once we get there. So I am making plans and progress to fix this. But it's a real struggle for me. I mean, this is why I'm here. This is why I weigh what I weigh. And it's something that I'm always going to have to deal with. So I just have to figure out how to make it work and not beat myself up about it, because if I'm not perfect, and by perfect I mean if I go over my 30 dailies, then I get disappointed in myself and feel like, then what's the point? I'm an all or nothing person, and what's the point? So I need to figure out how to be okay with life happening. And last week we had company in, and we ended up going out to dinner. And I had tracked everything. I had planned. We get there and I order it. And then I had ordered a burger and fries and ranch dressing. And I had tracked, I'm like, I'm going to eat half the burger. I'm going to eat all of the fries and probably like half of the dressing that they bring. Tracked it all. So proud of myself, very happy with it. I mean, the burger itself, the whole burger was 47 points. That is crazy. I mean, I don't even get 47 for my weeklies. So, so I get the plate and I cut the burger in half. I start eating it, get done with half the burger. I couldn't stop myself from eating the second burger. And I immediately went in my phone on the app and tracked the other half of the burger. And I was okay with that. I was okay with the decision I had made. I didn't make the decision, sitting there, it was a very rash decision. It wasn't, it just wasn't, I don't know. I hadn't thought really about it. I just was like, I'm going to eat it. I don't care. And, I had to own it. I didn't have a choice at that point, but I had made the decision that, life happens. And this was 6 weeks. This was the first time in 6 weeks that I had gone to a restaurant. I had eaten something that is usually one of my favorites, and whatever. So I can't live my life where I never eat anything ever again. That's why low carb hasn't worked for me, because I haven't been in a mindset of I can live this way for the rest of my life. And I need to know that life will happen and there will be times when I want things that maybe aren't the best choice. But as long as I own it and I move on, that's going to help me succeed. So I had been okay with that decision. But because of the choice I made, I really didn't have much for weeklies left. And I maybe had like a handful of weeklies, I think, by the time I was done. So by the time Monday came around and my company had left, I originally thought this will be easy. I've got this, this weekend was rough, but I made it through, so I can make it through this week. And I was already down a couple of pounds on my scale, so I thought I had it. Well, then binge eating creeps in, and, I have never been a drug addict or an alcoholic or a smoker, addicted to any of those things. So I don't know what that feels like, but I can imagine that it feels to me when binge eating creeps in, and I feel like I have no control over it. So that's where I struggled this week. I need to try to say no to myself more this week. And I think that there's trigger foods that I didn't realize were trigger foods for me. Things that may be low in points, and I think, oh, but I can have this, that are setting me up. Like, I have been buying the pizzelles from Aldi. I think that's how you pronounce them. And I have been pairing them with the Halo Top ice cream, and I've warmed up apples and done that, and I've just eaten them as cookies and whatever. They have been like my best friend the last couple of weeks. Well, it started out that I could have, one or two, and then one or two turned into three or four, especially since when you go from 3 to 4, the points don't change. So why not? And now it's becoming, 4 isn't enough. And it's going to get to a point where the whole box is what is enough, because when I get to the end of the box, there are no more left, and that's where it ends. So I need to stay away from those, I think, for a little while and focus on other things. I think I need to make my diet a little bit more protein heavy and not so carb heavy, which I've noticed recently I've made a little bit more carb heavy. So I need to make some changes this week. I need to plan better, and I'm not a good planner. I will plan, maybe dinner like around lunchtime, but to sit down and figure out my whole week or plan out my day in advance, I'm not great at that. So I may need to take a minute to kind of change how I'm, doing my, organizing my meals and how I'm budgeting my dailies and my weeklies. I think I might try the Wendie Plan. I looked at it. I've never done it before, but I kind of like the idea that, one day you have X amount of points, the next day you have a different amount of points, and the whole week, by the time you're done with the week, you've used your points up. But you can hear my kids screaming in the background. They're outside playing. So, that way I can do it that way. Okay, so I just need to finish, I need to kind of regroup and figure out what's going to work for me. But I think I'm going to try the Wendie Plan this week and see how it goes. If it goes great, I might continue. If it doesn't, or whatever, I don't know. But I think I'm going to try it and see. If you guys have done the Wendie Plan, or I don't know, maybe there's other plans out there too. And when I say Wendie Plan, if you don't know what I'm talking about, it's still doing Weight Watchers, but there is, I think it might even be called the wendieplan.com, but it's somebody who created a different amount of smart points per day based on some criteria. that you plug in and gives you a formula. So if you've done it before and you've had good results or bad results or whatever, comment below. If you have any tips, or if you guys struggle with binge eating disorder, let me know. I'd love to hear from you. But other than that, I am going to sign off, and I will get back with you next Saturday. And I hope you guys have a great week, and I will see you soon. Bye.